Hodge of BoardGameGeek here with Ryan of Wonderment Games. We get to look at Quodd Heroes. This is our ginormous box. I had to take off the box so I could hold the cover. It's so heavy.
It is a big box, that's for sure.
There's like, how heavy is this game?
I think it's 11 pounds.
11 pounds. It's no joke. It's a real workout.
It is. I've been carrying it around the con. It's even worse when you have my custom-made organizer, which is
oh my gosh.
Horrible.
And wonderful at the same time.
It is, yes.
So, give me a little bit of overview of like, what is this? Is this a new world, or what is it?
It's sort of, from a story standpoint, you're basically on a planet that's supposed to be a cube, which doesn't make any sense, but
okay.
It might explain the fact that all of the characters, the people, are cubes.
Are cubes.
Yeah, so the general overview of the game, like sort of what makes it tick, is that you have a cube-shaped miniature, and you have a different movement type associated with each side, associated with each face of the character. And it's sort of a modular action strategy game.
Okay.
If that means anything, but basically it's scenario-based. So every time you play, it's going to be a different setup, but the core mechanism is basically just moving around the board with your character, and sort of how you move is kind of what makes the game interesting, I think.
Yeah. Cool.
So how it works basically is there's two of the same character here, but I've set up kind of a make-believe scenario here, but basically it's basically a rally race. That's kind of the simplest type of game.
Okay.
Normally there'd be a start board here at the end, but those are back in the booth.
Side, you mean?
You're going point 1, 2, 3, 4 in order.
Oh, okay.
And
I see.
You'd be tracking it on the top. But essentially, on your turn, there's going to be card play, but essentially to move, you always start by tumbling your character into an adjacent space. And then perform the skill that's associated with what's on top afterward. As you move, you're going to pay attention to board elements. So there's a bit of Robo-Rally feel to how the boards work.
Sure.
So if I tumble here,
you have to move forward.
This will move me forward. Then this will spin.
Oh.
It will rotate me 90 degrees in the direction of my choice. Then I will perform the skill on top. That's his crystal arm.
Oh, okay.
And then I would slide. This lets me move orthogonally in a straight line up to my maximum distance. At the start of the game, you have one movement point, but as the game goes on, I could move much farther, basically.
Okay.
So then I would move my own movement points to try to get where I'm going, basically.
So are these always in the same order? You choose the order.
At the start of the game, once you've sort of set up on the start line, all the players will start kind of in the same row in this type of scenario. You'll assign this to sort of give you a best first turn movement. As the game goes on, when you activate your queue, there's a queue on top of each character.
Yes.
When that is turned so that it's face up, so I would actually do that, then I activate my queue power, which is unique to my character. There's two abilities. One, in his case, because he's a little forest guy, I should have unsleeved these cards actually, but anyway, he gets pets. So I could find a pet card, this is an example of a pet card, and put it in my hand, and then I would do that, and then the secondary ability with Q powers is that I can rearrange these to assign them to different.
Pretty good power.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that basically lets you customize for your next turn. It's really a game that involves sort of a lot of movement and pushing and pulling. So if there are other players on the board as I'm moving,
they kind of get in your way.
Yeah, I can push them. So as I move, I can push Mayor Trixie
and manipulate them.
Yeah, right. So if a character falls in a pit, they'll respawn at the nearest checkpoint. That's a checkpoint.
Oh, these are pits.
Yep. So that's a pit. So there's lots of obstacles. There's like pits and water currents and.
And if you get there, you might get something cool.
Yeah, so these are random tokens that have effects under them. So that one, if you land on it, it's suddenly a spring. You jump over 2 spaces in a direction of your choice.
Oh, cool.
When you push somebody else onto a board element, the pusher chooses where that player goes. So if I push Mayor Trixie, I can choose for her to go this way or that way or whatever.
Probably not to one.
No,
that's what
you don't want to push her in the direction she wants to go. But so this is a scenario-based game, so there are lots of ways to play. So this is an example of a player versus player scenario. There's also a full solo campaign that involves very puzzly stuff. So it's timed, you have, say, 5 rounds, and you have to sort of maybe grab a crystal from here, and you have to drop it off here, and you have to do something else.
So there's goals within the...
Yeah, so there's objectives, right? So another type of game that's player versus player would be collecting. So let's say there'd be a crystal here, and a crystal here on spawn points, basically. You collect a crystal, you have to drop them off on another spot. While you're carrying it, before you drop it off, other people can steal it from you.
Okay.
So it's scenario-based in the truest sense, in the sense that basically you have a core mechanism, and then you add in lots of variety through the scenario types. And
there's different boards, there's different goal cards, I would think. And
so lots of people lots of people talk about sandbox experiences in board games. None of them are really sandboxy in the sense that you really have a full palette to work with. This really is intended, and I actually have on my website kind of sharing the artwork for boards, so you can make your own boards and share your own scenarios, right? So it's kind of built from the ground up with the idea that people will come up with their own scenarios, right? You just play your own game, but yeah. So the other aspect as you move is card play. So there are cards that can do things like rotate boards. So I play this, and suddenly I can pick up a board and rotate it 90 degrees. So
well, that just changed everything.
It did, yeah. So if I was here and my opponent is here, like suddenly, you know, there's a big change, right? So, or you play cards that just enhance your movement temporarily. Play this, and I can add like 3 movement to one of my skills, and then when I activate that skill, I can move farther.
That's awesome.
And then there's item and pets that basically you play once and they stay in play, and every turn I can do something. Like this one, I can place a spring within 7 spaces of my character.
Oh, cool.
And then every turn I step on a spring, I jump, and then I keep moving. So there's kinds. The sort of core mechanism just involves moving and playing cards and sort of achieving your objectives, but what you do during a particular game varies from game to game.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, it sounds like you have a pretty good control over the actions you're taking. Even though it's programmed, it seems like you can still manipulate it enough that it might not hurt you.
I mean, technically speaking, I would not call this a programming game. Oh, okay. Other people call it a programming game.
That's what I mean.
But a programming game, I imagine like Robo Rally or Mex vs. Minions, where you set it and it runs.
And it runs.
In this case, you're always choosing the direction you go.
Okay.
When the skill activates, you choose the direction you move in.
Okay.
And it's only one. It's basically action selection, right? So if I tumble forward, I'm choosing to activate that side.
That's right.
And then when I activate this side, it's diagonal slide. I can choose which direction I go diagonally, right?
Because you could have chosen to rotate
Any
the
of
other
the
way.
other 3 directions,
so you get to pick what you're doing.
Yeah, you always choose.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's not technically a programming game, despite the fact that others may call it that.
Yeah, there's a miscommunication.
It's more like action selection, but it has that feel because it's similar board-wise to like Robo Rally or Mex vs. Minions.
Because you're doing what the thing
the board will tell you to do stuff.
Manipulate yourself. Okay. No, I really like that. Really cool. And so this is now available at Gen Con.
Yep, this is our first show that we've actually been at with the game for sale.
Nice.
We fulfilled our Kickstarter about 2 months ago.
Oh, cool.
And
will it be for sale?
Yep, it's for sale in our booth.
I mean, just like in the world?
Oh, in retail. We don't have enough production to actually do a retail release, but it's available on WondermentGames.com.
WondermentGames.com is how you can get it.
So and it's available there currently for Gen Con pricing. So we're selling it for $90 this convention. It's a very big game.
It is very big.
Normally it's $100 US. So if you use a promo code, we have a promo code for Gen Con, which I believe is, I don't know. I don't remember actually.
Did you promote this code anywhere?
Only here at Gen Con. But I will post it on our website. It'll be on WondermentGames.com, so everybody has access to it. So for the next week or so, you'll be able to get it for $90 US. It ships for free right now.
Wow, that's saying something. This is 11 pounds you told me earlier.
It's a heavy box. So it ships for free in North America and Europe. Outside of those regions, it costs money.
But sounds good. So we can get it on your website, and awesome. We get to look for Quodd Heroes.
Cool.
Love it. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.